Welcome back everyone to our gameplay series of X4 Foundations. So in our last video we talked a little bit about some of the issues that I've been having recently with the game, some piloting issues with the AI and where they wouldn't move around. Sometimes they just got stuck, and that happened to me in multiple ships whether I was on board or not. So what I decided to do, and I mentioned this in the video, is I make a decision on, do I want to try to figure out what's going on, start removing mods one by one until I figure it out, and maybe I can't figure it out. But what I decided to do is simply get a fresh start. Now, I didn't want to bring you guys all the way back to the very beginning. If that's something that you guys are really interested in, I can do a little bit more of that than what I have been. But basically what I've been trying to do is show you a little bit different setup in, with some stations, with mining fleets, with trading fleets, and different things like that. And going forward, I've got a couple of ideas on things I want to do in the future. But I did want to take this video as an opportunity to let you guys know what I've been working on since the last video. And it is a brand new, fresh save. I got rid of all the mods except for two. And I feel like these are two mods that shouldn't have... it shouldn't make any difference at all to the behavior of the AI or the ships in general. And the two mods I'm using are the Crystal Finder, which is a mod that I featured several videos ago back toward the beginning of this series. I absolutely love that mod. Mining the crystals is something I do from time to time, and it's basically a stress relief mechanism for me. I have a lot of fun doing it. I just fly through there, no stress involved, and whenever I see some crystals I want to mine, I stop and mine them, but otherwise it's just a nice peaceful stroll through the asteroid belt. So Crystal Finder is one mod I'm using. The second mod is sector satellites, and my main purpose for the sector satellites has nothing to do with money and not having to put down multiple satellites for that purpose. In fact, it's quite different. It's, I believe, helping me on my frames per second by the fact of using advanced satellites enables me to only put down one advanced satellite, which are pretty darn expensive as it is, but I only have to put down one, and it doesn't show me all of the live traffic and constantly try to update where the ships are, which I have seen. It really seems to affect my frames per second when I scroll out onto the map, especially as I scroll back out farther. The frames per second can drop quite rapidly, so I think it's helping me out some with that, but time will tell overall if that's going to help. Now, the one thing I don't have right now in this playthrough is a mod for trading, and boy, am I missing it. In fact, just popped up on the screen in the bottom left there, the Auto Trader number 2 is the only Auto Trader I currently have. I did have two. One of them is now assigned to a station, but they've been doing okay. But once you've had a trading mod, a dedicated trading mod, it's really hard to go back, and that's what I'm really going through right now. But now, what do we want to talk about in today's video? Well, today's video is all about giving you sort of a summary of where I am right now in the playthrough. And we'll start by the ship that you see right here on the docks. Now, we just saw here in this docking area, there was a trading vessel that just got created, and now he's off and running. So there is some activity that goes on here, but unfortunately, this is about the only wharf where that's happening. I've been to several different locations as I fly around the map and try to expand our trading network, and they're all missing hull parts, engine parts, various different components, you name it. It's really keeping things at a standstill. A lot of the times I'm seeing the queues for these wharfs are 6, 8, or more, and that's really unfortunate because it's bringing things to a standstill. And of course, to compound that, I've seen very little enemy activity on a very small scale. Usually one or two of the fighters will be along. Every once in a while I'll see a medium-sized Cerberus type vehicle out roaming around, but for the most part it is very limited enemy activity. Now, I have some plans. I'm going to try to spark some of that coming up in the future. How well it'll work, I don't know, but we'll see in future videos how well that goes. But this guy sitting right out here was recently claimed for me by one of my mining vessels over in the Void. And I got a message because my default behavior, if we come out to player information and go down to global standing orders, these are my global standing orders with regards to things like police, pirates, and abandoned ships. Well, abandoned ships, I'm using the claim if possible tag. And generally what's been happening to me as I've done several playthroughs on new saves is I generally get about one of these in each playthrough. Not several, but usually about one. Sometimes I get it fairly early on. Sometimes it's taken much longer. And in this case, I just got it. And I am several hours into this save, maybe 5 or 6, I can't remember, something like that. So not a huge amount of time, but certainly long enough that you would think if there are any abandoned ships out there, then we would have found at least one of them by now. And it just happened here recently. So it popped up on my screen and I told them to go ahead and claim it, which if I hadn't responded, they would have tried to do that anyway. And that's really the reason why I put Marines on every ship that I build now, is just in case of these situations. So I had them claim it. So now we've got this guy who's made it back over. So let's come in. We'll get to our fleet here in just a moment. But you see, this is the only guy who doesn't have really a name. So he's still at Drill Vanguard. And oops, let's click off of everything there. And why don't you like that? Let's try this again. There we go. Information. That's what I wanted. So you can see he's got some deployables on there. He's got navigation beacons and resource probes. We won't be needing those for him. Maybe a few resource probes, if anything. But for the most part, we don't need that. You can see his hull is not bad. 94%. No shield. And I'm guessing everything else is not good either. Oh, we've got, that tells us a little bit more about where the ship might have come from by looking at some of the parts here. So we've got an MK2 combat engine, MK2 or Mark II thrusters, and the software. Okay, so he's got some basic things, a few laser towers, it appears, as well as, and then some chaff for the flares. Okay, overall, not too bad. Let's actually come back out of there, and we're going to get busy repairing this guy. So essentially what I did, and it took really a matter of less than a minute from the moment that my crew let me know that they had found an abandoned ship, and once I told them to go ahead and claim it, they launched a pod, and really within probably 15 or 20 seconds, it was claimed. So I've simply had it come and dock here so that we can take a look at where we want to go from here. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to swap him over to a travel engine. Still going to go with a Mark II, but I want him to have a little bit better travel speed. That'll help him get from point A to point B a little bit quicker. And let's see. Okay, the combat Mark II, I'm not opposed to that. Not the one I normally would have just simply used the all-around in this case, but I'm certainly not going to be mad about that. Okay, we'll give him a shield. We'll give him the Mark II shield. And then as far as weapons, since this is a miner, let's go ahead and let's give him the Mark II mining drill. I have no idea if that's actually a whole lot better than the Mark I. Haven't been able to test that one out. So I've been using auto mining exclusively since the issues from launch. So I really have no idea if they've corrected any of that or not. But we're going to go ahead and give him the best equipment that we can for mining. So we've got one weapon, and then our turrets. We're going to set up a couple of mining turrets. So it looks like he was definitely down on some equipment. That's for sure. Okay, docking software, Mark II. And okay, they like the police scanner on these that I've found in general. So they like that. All that looks perfectly fine. And let's see, consumables, we do not need all of these things. So that's going to save us a little bit of money. We'll leave him about 5 on there. Nav beacons, maybe, I'll tell you what, let's go also with 5 just in case we need to leave one of those around. And we're not going to worry about laser towers. Again, this is simply going to save us some money. And let's see, so that's going to take him down to 0 on everything except for the couple of items that we've looked at. Let's see, captain we're going to have, and let's look at some crew members. Let's go ahead and give him 4 Marines, and then the remainder will be service crew. That'll max him out 10 out of 10 there. And then finally, we want to queue up the repairs to repair that hull. So you notice that after all these changes, we've added some mining turrets, a shield, and so on. This isn't going to cost us any money. It's actually going to make us a little bit of money by going through this, so not bad. Now, keep in mind, another option that you have in a situation like this is simply to sell the vessel outright. And if we wanted to do that, we could certainly do that and get some credits that way. But in this case, I actually want to keep this guy. All right, so this guy is off and running, but we need to give him some orders. All right, so he's going to undock, and then he's going to actually dock again, change the equipment, and then he'll be ready to go. So whenever he's ready, I'm actually going to go ahead and set him up. Oh, we can't even auto mine with him. We need to get a better pilot. Okay, so I'll take care of that a little bit later. But now let's take a look at our fleet. And here's what I've been doing. I've been essentially trying to set up a bigger and bigger expanding fleet of ships that were mining different things. And the way I've decided what to mine is, of course, you got Nevidium there. That is always a great choice at the very beginning. But then, of course, you can't really rely on it for very long because the demand is going to run out. Since it's not currently, that I'm aware of, it's not currently used in any of the manufacturing. So what I generally come in and do is I'll go to either solid or liquid, depending on what I need to check on. And I will simply scroll out a little bit. We'll start here in our main base here at the Argonne Wharf. And we'll see that we've got a little bit of silicon and plenty of ore that is needed. A little bit of Nevidium over in Hativa's Choice. But then as I scroll out and start to get more of a global view, you can see we have a little bit of Nevidium mining that is still available for us over there. And you can see we have 1 Nevidium miner currently operating. Silicon, we're in no danger of running out of demand for it anytime soon. 37,000 there. Ice, I currently have 2 ice miners, and that's in fact what I'm going to have this new vessel do once I get it all set up the way it needs to be. So 58,000 there, 84,000 on ore, nearly 85,000. So again, you can see we've got 4 ore miners, we've got 3 silicone miners right now. We've got a couple of methane miners, a couple of hydrogen miners, and everything is really going along quite nicely. Let's take a quick look at what's going on here. So 24,000 there, 2,000 there with the hydrogen. So plenty of demand for the methane. Hydrogen is drying up some. So I tell you what, let's just go ahead and try to get ahead of this a little bit, as this could change too. This can go up because I know hydrogen is used in some of the recipes. So let's go ahead and we're going to leave 1 guy there, and I'm going to switch one of these guys over to methane. So let's go ahead and get him pulled up. Let's see. Okay, no storage. So let's go ahead and get rid of his current orders there. And we're going to choose methane. And that way he should be all set. We're going to leave him still at the maximum gate distance. No reason to really change that. And now I need to come back over to the information tab, because I need to change him to methane miner number 3. All right, let's go ahead and make that change. All right, this guy will get busy here before too long. In fact, there he is. He's already got his orders. He's headed to Hativa's Choice number 3 to mine some methane. And that's what I do periodically. I just continue to watch the demand for the different mining resources that we're working on, and I try to expand or move things around as needed. And then back to our auto traders. We only have one working, and he looks like currently not doing anything. Yeah, he didn't have any orders queued up right now. And like I said, it's been hit or miss. The auto traders by default in this game are not all that efficient. They can make some money, and depending on how the economy is going in your particular game, there is some good money to be made, but I've seen it be way too hit or miss for me not to think about adding back another trading mod in the future. So for right now, we only have one trader up and running. So let's take a look at some factories that I'm currently working on. Let's go ahead and get rid of this stuff for a moment and get it out of our way. So currently I have two factories that are in extremely close proximity to each other. And the reason I did this is this was actually done in response to the AI's request. So I found a job offer, a mission at one of the local stations here, and it said that they wanted me to build a station. Now, if you're familiar with the game and you've done one of these before, then you know that they could be really lucrative opportunities for you. So let's take a look at what's happened. Now, the first one is already done and gone, but the Argon Prime Factory is my most recent one. So let's take a look at the mission for it. There we go, station required, and you can see they're going to pay me a little over 7 million credits. And by my estimation, now I do plan on using this station in the future, so it's not simply a money grab for me. I do plan on using this in the future, so I've actually put some nice equipment there to get us started, but it's taking me somewhere around 1.5 million credits. So if I just wanted a money grab, we could certainly get by with more profit than that. But right now, let's actually take a look and see where things are. We're going to open up the briefing. We've already flown to the location. We've already claimed the plot. And you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, and I wish I could stop this terrible spinning that it's doing, but we've got a docking station, a luxury dock that I've put down here, and a couple of container storage modules with some turrets on board. And the reason I did that is, number one, because I'm going to use this station in the future, and number two, because one of the requirements is to have a certain container storage capacity as well as 5 turrets. So all of that is underway. Let's see how the building is going. It's been a little bit slow here lately because I went and spent a whole bunch of money here recently. So they've been basically trying to wait on me to give them more funds. So let's come in and see. There you can see just very basic few modules that are on there now. Here in just a moment, we'll talk a little bit more about the modules that I've unlocked, mostly through purchasing. All right, so it looks like we need to grab a builder. Let's see, all of these guys seem to be done. Okay. All right, I like it. So we can continue on. I'll have to check. There must be something I'm missing as to why it hasn't triggered that we're in good shape with this, because we got a couple of storages which should easily take care of our needs as far as storage space. So I'll check into that. But basically, what is going to happen in the future is I'll get another builder over here, and I'll start working out some of these additional modules, similar to what I have over on our main station, which is the first one I've built. Now, for our purposes in this playthrough, I've not even touched the main storyline. I've done absolutely nothing with it, and for the most part, have simply forgotten that it existed. Okay, let's see what's going on with the build here. Okay, and I'm pretty sure they're waiting on me to give them some more money. And yeah, you can see he's run out of money here. So let's go ahead and do that. I actually did a crystal run here very recently, just so that I could give these guys plenty of money. We're going to give him what he needs plus some extra. And that way, hopefully, this guy can get busy at what he needs to do. So now you see that we've got a few new modules that we haven't talked about before. Refined metals, certainly nothing new there. Engine parts, also very standard. Antimatter cells, actually got that one quite by mistake. I was scanning a station and came across that one, and I thought, oh wow, that's nice. Anytime you can get a a new blueprint like that, it is always nice. So then telodinium is, at least that's what I'm going to call it, basically the Teladi material. And this production, the reason I was so interested in this is because it turns out that it uses the same basic requirements as something else we've been working on. So if we come into the encyclopedia, it uses energy cells and ore, which is strangely familiar if we come into refined metals, energy cells, and ore. So those worked out very nicely together. And in fact, if we come back out and we take a quick look at the subordinates here, you can see I've currently got 3 miners dedicated to this station, as well as a trader who is working at varying levels of effectiveness. But so far, it's been very good. And now, the other great thing that I've noticed as the playthrough has been moving along is that not only are these 3 miners trading with my station to make sure we have plenty of ore, but also some of my other miners, in this case, specifically the ore miners, have been trading with my station as well. So everything has really been working out good, and I really haven't had a need to increase the number of station miners that I currently have. So everything is really going by well from that perspective. Let's see, let's actually look at the overview here and see what kind of money we've got. Okay, not bad. I have given a great total of zero money to our manager on board here, who has 0 stars, so she has 0 skill whatsoever. But I have managed to give her no money, and she has continually increased the amount of money, starting off with just our basic energy cells and then finally moving into refined metals. And in fact, you can see I've lowered the price way down so that we could get rid of a lot of this until we can get our various other productions up and going that we're going to need these resources for long term. But for right now, everything is working out great. We're selling these guys off very quickly. And then we come down here to, all right, so wow, we've got some of these. Let's actually come back out and see what the demand looks like on those. Oops. Let's come back into here. Go back to container, and we'll scroll down and just focus in here. And if I scroll all the way back out, let's see. Oh, wow, 18,689. It looks like over in Bright Promise is where that demand is. So quite a bit of demand for that. 223 is their price. I'm at 191, which should be pretty good. In fact, I want to see what the station trader is up to. Okay, nope, he's actually selling some engine parts. Okay, good. I'll take that as well. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try lowering that price. I don't have any use for this particular material, so there's really no use in me keeping it around. So I'm going to play around with the pricing here. We're going to take this off of auto pricing, and we're simply going to run it down to the minimum, and we're going to see if we can get some sales up and going. So we're going great with the sales of the refined metals. We have a little bit here that was probably just finished on the production cycle that we're working on. But yeah, I am very pleased with the money this is bringing in. And again, anytime you can fund a station without having to put any money whatsoever into the management account, even from the very beginning, then you know you're in good shape. All right, let's take a look at where we are on ore. You can see we've been using up quite a bit of ore here recently. Let's make sure we are no longer buying it since we are essentially producing it with our auto miners. But yeah, not too bad. You can see we've got a couple of our miners that are coming in here very shortly to drop off their ore. So everything is working pretty good. If anything, I will likely add another miner, maybe even 2, just to make sure, since the ore is used in multiple veins of our production, I'm going to make sure that we get everything we need going forward. If we come over to the engine parts, we still have over an hour of materials left there. And let's see, 719 credits is the max price here. Of course, we're using auto pricing right now, but let's actually come back out and see what a good price is here. Because again, I want to make sure that we're selling these to keep our stock down pretty low and bring in as much cash as we can. All right, so let's check on our wares, engine parts. Again, scroll back out. Now there should be a lot of purchase requirements here. And sure enough, not too bad, not as much as there should be, simply because we need a lot of this in order to get some ships built in the various different wharfs around the map. But right now, they're just not buying as much as they should be. Looks like 719 is how much they're willing to pay. Okay, 719 on that, not bad. But again, I'm not looking to, oops, hit the wrong key there. I'm not looking to worry too much about our profit margin right now. I'm just basically trying to experiment and see what we can get here. So let's actually bring this down. I'm going to start bringing it down. Let's bring it down to about 550. And we'll just start there. And if I start to see over time a lot of orders jumping in here and us using all that we have currently in storage, then that'll be fine. You can certainly currently see we don't have any in storage. So things have been going well. But in the future, I'll keep an eye on that and just play around with that to make sure it stays this way. But overall, very happy with where things are here in our universe. And so going forward, I'm going to continue to try to expand our mining fleet. I would love to expand our trading fleet as well, but we'll just have to see. Right now, that guy, you can see he's not doing a whole lot right now. So I may put him to work on some of the engine parts, and that'll enable me to really work that much harder and hopefully get some ships getting built around this universe so that we can get some action going. When we come back next time, I'll give you another update, and who knows, we might have a surprise or two if I can get some things to work out in game. But that'll do it for now. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned as we will continue our gameplay series of X4 Foundations.